Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody can hear my voice and see the presentation on the screen. Excellent. So we had taken one session of assumptions last week over the weekend, and we had started an exercise and seen 20 examples. And the students, most of you had requested that I also solve the remaining questions from the exercise in class. So today we are going to look at the examples of assumptions once again. I'll briefly run you through the theory, right? And then we will be taking a look at the questions that were from the exercise, which are there on the screen. And we will see how many of these we actually managed to get right. So, are we together? Is everybody with me? Chalo. So, do you remember what an assumption is? Do you remember from class what an assumption is? What is an assumption? No answers, guys. I hope you remember what an assumption is, or how we test whether a given assumption is true or not. Okay. So, an assumption, like I said, is an unstated premise. It's a statement which is not given to us, but which must be true for the given answer, for the given statement to be true. So, how we test an assumption is that whenever we get an assumption, we check if the assumption is right, then from the assumption, the statement given is also right. But if the assumption is wrong, then the given statement is also wrong. That means changing the value of the assumption changes the value of the statement, right? The assumption, the statement is based upon the validity of the assumption. So that was the way we tested whether the given assumption is a valid assumption or not. Do you remember that? If not, don't worry. We will take examples, and solving these examples are the easiest way to remember how to do questions of assumptions, right? So even if you are starting fresh today, don't worry. We will do a lot of examples, and these examples will clearly help you understand how to solve questions in the exam. So let's take a look from the 21st statement onwards, right? You are given a statement and three assumptions, and you have to identify which of the assumptions is required for this statement. So the statement says a successful employee of a company says work is never a stress. It all depends on attitude. Work is never a stress, it all depends on attitude. So, which of the assumptions is being made in this particular statement? What are we assuming in this particular statement? Now, remember, guys, what you do is you take the assumption and see, does changing the assumption make any difference to the statement, or is the statement independent of that assumption? So let's take the first assumption, right? Statement 1, assumption 1. Assumption 1 says successful employees have proper attitude. Now, if successful employees have proper attitude, does that lead me to the statement about work and stress? This one connects attitude and success, but is it the actual connection which the employee is giving is between stress and attitude, right? So the first statement, the first assumption which is given is not necessarily true, right? The first assumption given is not necessary. Even without this, the statement still holds value. So the first one, not required. Second, employees with proper attitude will be successful. Is it that if employees with proper attitude are successful, then the employee who's successful will say this? No. Even if employees with proper attitude are not successful, this particular employee can make that statement. So this is also not necessarily required. Now, the third one, if attitude makes work stressful, then the successful employee says that work is actually never a stress, it all depends on the attitude. Because if attitude does not make work stressful, why would he say that it depends on attitude? Obviously, it is attitude which is making work stressful. So whether work is stressful or not depends on attitude. That is exactly what he is assuming in this statement. So only 3, which means option B is my right answer. If he is assuming that attitude makes work stressful, then he's saying that work is never a stress, it depends on attitude. If attitude does not make work stressful, then he cannot say that work not being a stress depends on attitude, right? So if he says that work is not a stress, it all depends on your attitude, then it means he's assuming that it is actually attitude which makes work stressful. So if you have a good attitude, work is not stressful. If you have a bad attitude, work is stressful, which ultimately means he is relating attitude with stress at work. So option B, only the third one is the one which is true. Did we get that? Slightly difficult question, but did you understand the logic behind it? I hope everybody got the logic behind this one. Okay. Next one. The star performers of today in any company spend an average of 2 years in a particular role, after which, if they are not given an enriched role, they get bored and they quit the job. So, what am I assuming? Am I assuming that star performers do not get bored within 2 years? Or am I assuming that star performers will quit the job once they get bored? Or am I assuming that star performers in any company enjoy an enriched role? What am I assuming? I'm saying that if they are not given an enriched job, they get bored and quit the job. So what is the reason behind quitting the job? What is the reason behind quitting the job? Am I audible to everybody? Am I audible now? Can you hear me properly? Can you hear me properly, guys? Yes, a couple of students are seeming to have an issue with, there's a lag in between. Is everybody facing this problem of audio? Am I audible now? Can you hear me now? Am I clearly audible now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I audible now? Okay. So it might be a bit of a temporary glitch with the network. You need to bear with me. Okay. So the author here is making what is the author assuming? What is the author assuming in this particular thing? In this particular question, what is the author assuming? Right? Is it that they enjoy? If they don't enjoy the enriched role, then what? The point is not about enjoying the enriched role. The point is either need to be engaged or they get bored. And if they get bored, they quit. It is the second option, which is clearly the assumption that if they get bored, they are quitting. So because their job is not enriched role, they get bored and quit. So the reason of quitting is actually the boredom. The reason behind quitting is actually the boredom. So clearly option C, the second one is the assumption. One is not definitely an assumption. So A and D cannot be my answer. And it is not that star performers enjoy enriched role, but they require enriched role to not get bored. It is not given that enriched role is for their enjoyment. But if they don't get an enriched role, then they definitely get bored. So C, again, third one is also not my option answer. And hence the best option has to be only 2. Did everybody get this one? The best option definitely has to be number 2. right? The enriched role does not give them joy, but not having the enriched role makes them bored. And hence, the third assumption is not my answer. The third assumption is not my answer. So, moving ahead, the starvation deaths in Bundelkhand region are shocking. Such incidents should make people who waste food instead of sharing with poor feel ashamed. Right? So, what is the assumption of the author? Is he assuming that people are wasting food? If people are not wasting food, then would he make a statement like this? Would he say people who waste food should be ashamed if he is not able to assume that people waste food? No. So definitely people are wasting food. So the first assumption is definitely required. Right? First assumption is definitely required. Okay. If people who is he assuming that people who waste food are not ashamed? See, if people who waste food are not ashamed, then obviously he will make a statement like this that they should feel ashamed. Because if they're already ashamed, then why should he say that they should feel ashamed? If people who waste food are already ashamed, then there is no need for him to say it. So obviously he's assuming that people who waste food are not ashamed, and hence he said that they should be. So even the second one is definitely there. Now, third one, all people are not aware of the shocking starvation death in Bundelkhand. Whether all people are aware or not has nothing to do with the statement. If all people are aware, he will still say this. If all people are not aware, he can still say it. So whether we assume the third one or not is irrelevant. So only the first and the second are required as assumptions, and hence option D is my answer. Option D, D for Delhi, is my answer. Are we getting this one? Did you understand how D is an assumption? How is one an assumption? Okay, let's take the test. Some people waste food. If I assume that some people waste food, then will I say that people who waste food should feel ashamed? Kushi, if some people waste food, then will I say that people who waste food should be ashamed? Okay, now put the negative of the statement. Let's say that some people waste food is wrong. That means people don't waste food. So if people don't waste food, then will I say that people who waste food should be ashamed? If people don't waste food, then why should I talk about people wasting food at all? Rehani, no, these questions I'll be putting up on the screen after the class. Send me a request on the WhatsApp number. I will send you the exercise. Similar questions are given in the book. Kushi, did you understand? If people waste food, only then he will talk about them being ashamed. If he doesn't assume that people waste food, then he will not talk about them being ashamed. That means he is assuming that people waste food. Correct? Got that? Okay. Chalo. I hope everybody is following me, right? Slowly and steadily, we do more examples. You will start understanding how do we identify the assumptions. Chalo. Company Z is planning to install a state-of-the-art gym at the office compound in an attempt to keep its staff fit. Right? The company is planning to install a state-of-the-art gym. It wants to keep the staff fit, so they are installing the gym. Now tell me, are they assuming that a gym can keep the employees fit? Are they assuming that a gym can keep the employees fit? Think of it like this. If a gym can keep the employees fit, then obviously to keep the employees fit, you may install one. But if a gym is not able to keep the employees fit and you want to keep them fit, will you install a gym? No. So obviously a gym should be able to keep the employees fit. Only then you will install it if you want fitness. So do you agree that the first assumption is definitely true? Do you agree that the first assumption is definitely true? Right? चलो, so option B तो निकल गया, only 2 and 3 तो नहीं, because 1 is definitely an assumption. Do I assume that there is no gym in the office till now? Do I assume that there is no gym in the office till now? Why do I need to assume that? See, what type of gym are they installing? They are going to install a state of the art gym. State of the art gym means modern or latest facility wala gym. So, they are going to install a latest facility wala gym. It is possible that they have an old technology wala gym, right? It is not necessary that they don't have a gym. It is possible that they have a gym which is old, so they are only going to install a new one. So, if they have a gym or not have a gym, it does not make a difference to my answer. Did you understand that? You don't need to assume that there is no gym. Even if there is already a gym, they might be installing a state of the art gym, a modern technology wala gym for some reason. So, do I need to assume that there is no gym? No, I don't need to assume that. Did you understand that? The second one is not an assumption. Okay? Okay. Now, do I assume that employees will utilize this facility in the office? Do I need to assume that employees will use it in the office? If I'm installing a new facility, do I need to assume that my workers will use it? Guys, I'm not getting any response. I need you to say something. See, if I am assuming that they will use it, then I will give it to them. If I don't think they are going to use it, then obviously I am not going to install it. I will give a facility to my employees only when I know that they are going to use it. If it is not going to be used, then there is no need for me to install it, right? So obviously I have to assume that they will use this facility. So both the first one and the third one are assumptions which are required. So option A is my answer. Are you getting it? Option A is my answer, because both the first and the third one are required as assumptions. Nay, Rihani, understand this. If I'm giving a gym to my employees to keep them fit, here we are identifying what is the assumption made by the company. The company has installed it, right? So you have to think from the company's perspective. If I give you something, do I assume you will use it, or do I assume you will not use it? If I give you something, I will always think that you are going to use it, right? I will assume that you will use it, only then I will give it to you. Why would I give you anything if in my mind I think you are not going to use it? Do you get that? And the attempt is to keep the staff fit. The attempt is not to use the gym. The attempt is the company is attempting to keep the staff fit. They think the employees will use the gym, and that's why they are planning to give them one. If the company does not assume that the employees will use it, then is there any meaning of giving it to them? Is there any meaning of giving it to them? No. So now do you get it? You have to assume that the company thinks the employees will use the gym. That's why they are installing the gym. Right? Okay, very good. Chalo, next one. Don't worry. You have a remedy for burns from Dr. Morpan Limited. Bernol, the specialist for burns, has been trusted by Indian households for the last 60 years. Man, concept of advice in which wala question? The gym wala question? Are you talking about the gym wala question? No, it's not an advice. Who is giving an advice to whom? I'm going back to the previous question. Is anybody advising anybody here? Is this an advice given to somebody? No, nobody is giving anybody an advice. So you don't have to assume that people will follow or listen to the advice. But it's like it's like an advertisement. If I'm giving you something, yeah, similar to advice. It's not exactly advice, but the concept is similar. You're right. If I'm giving you something, I will assume that you are going to use it. That is correct, man. If I'm giving you something, right, I will assume that you will use it if it's a practical thing. So that is correct. Chalo. Second one. Don't worry, you have a remedy for burns from Dr. Morpen Limited. Bernol, the specialist for burns, has been trusted by Indian households for the last 60 years. Let's check the assumptions. First assumption. If people actually get worried because there is no remedy for burns, then I will tell them, don't worry, there is a remedy. If people are not worried because of this, am I going to start my statement with the sentence, don't worry? No. So, can I say that the first assumption is correct? It is because people get worried that I am telling them, don't worry, I am here. Right? So, my first assumption is definitely true. My first assumption is definitely true. Now, can I say that Indians trust specialists? Indians trust specialists? No, I cannot say this. Because a specialist is actually a person. A specialist is a person, right? But here in the ad, I'm saying Bernol, the specialist for burns. I'm only specifying Bernol is trusted. I'm not saying specialists are trusted. I'm saying Bernol is a specialist, but I'm not saying the specialist is trusted. I'm saying Bernol is trusted. I'm not saying all specialists are trusted. I'm saying Bernol is trusted. So I cannot, from a special case, derive a general statement that Indians trust specialists. It's like saying that Laddu, the sweet, is liked by me. So I cannot say I like sweets. I can only say I like Laddu. If I say Laddu, which is a sweet, is liked by me, I'm not saying I like sweets. I'm only saying I like Laddu. So when you say Bernol, the specialist, is trusted by Indians, I'm not saying that specialists are trusted. I'm saying Bernol is trusted. So second is not an option. Second is not an option. Did you get that? Man, I can't do. If my voice is cracking, I'm afraid it's poor net connection and I can't control that. So you'll have to excuse that. Did you get that? The second one is not necessarily true. And third, 60 years is sufficient to become a specialist. अब specialist बनने के लिए कितने साल लगते हैं? That is irrelevant. This number has nothing to do. That means only the first statement is correct. Only the first statement is correct. And hence, option B should be my answer. Option B should be my answer. Okay, guys, if my voice is cracking, let me just hold on for a minute. Let me try something. Just hold on for a minute. Just hold on for a minute, guys. Let me just try something. Okay. Just hold on. Okay, guys. Is it better now? Is my voice audible now? Is my voice audible now? Is it better now? Okay. Chalo then. So 25th is B. 25th is B. Did we get that? Twenty-fifth is definitely B. Okay. Moving ahead. 26th one. A special POTA court has sentenced to death to all the 3 persons convicted in the bomb blast case of 2003, in which many people died. Right? A special POTA case has sentenced to death to all the 3 persons convicted in the bomb blast case of 2003, in which many people died. Now, which of the assumptions is implicit? Which of these assumptions is implicit? Can I say that 3 convicts were found guilty? Can I say that 3 convicts were found guilty? No, you are not thinking, guys. It is not necessary that 3 convicts were found guilty. It's possible that more than 3 were found guilty, but these 3 were given death sentence and the others were given some other punishment. Because it is possible that different punishments are given to different people for the same crime. Right? So, just because 3 persons were convicted, the 3 persons were convicted, it does not mean 3 convicts are found guilty. More could have been. Right? So I need not assume this. In fact, even if I say, chalo, 3 convicts are found guilty, technically it is not an assumption because it is given in the passage. Right? It is given 3 persons convicted, and hence it is not an assumption, it is already there in the passage. Did you get that? Even if you say, chalo, only 3 people were convicted, it is still not an assumption because it is clearly given directly in the passage. And a statement which is directly given to you in the passage cannot be taken as an assumption. So the first one is not an assumption. Right? Now, the convicts detonated the bomb. We do not know who exploded the bomb. It was a bomb blast case, but whether the bomb was actually exploded by them, or it was a bomb which was exploded on its own, or whether it was a bomb which the people who died themselves ignited, we don't know. So it is not necessary that the convicts actually themselves set off the bomb. So B is not necessarily true. Third one. Can I say the convicts are not fit to live in society? Kushi, yes, they were guilty. I'm not saying they are not guilty. Who says they are not guilty? Kushi, for which option are you arguing? Yes. Okay. I'm not saying these 3 convicts are not guilty. I'm saying these 3 convicts guilty is already given to me in the sentence, and hence it is. I'm not saying that it is wrong. I'm not saying they are not guilty. I'm saying it is not an assumption. It is a fact given to me. You are supposed to identify the assumption which is hidden in the statement. A is not hidden. A is openly given, and hence A is not an assumption. Kushi, A is not an assumption because it is a fact which is already given to you. Hence, A is not the answer. Similarly, B is not my answer. See, is it necessary? See, the convicts were sentenced in the bomb blast case. But is it necessary that it is the convicts who actually pressed the button that exploded the bomb? It's not necessary that they themselves set the bomb. Somebody else could have set it. They could have been the mastermind. But the setting of the bomb, or it could have been a bomb जिस पे पाँव रख के वो खुद फटेगा. जरूरी नहीं है कि it is triggered or detonated. So I don't know whether these convicts actually detonated the bomb themselves. Did you get that, Shubham? B is not necessarily true. It is not necessary. I don't have anything which tells me that these were the people who actually set the bomb themselves. They could have made somebody else do it. So B is not necessarily true. C is definitely true. Because only when we say that they are not fit to live, then we will sentence them to death. So C is definitely true. Now, who instigated them? We don't know. So we can't assume that they were instigated by an enemy country. Nobody says that they are from another country. They could have been from the same country. We don't know. So the only option is C. So C is definitely the assumption which is hidden. If we say they are not fit to live in society, then of course we will sentence them to death. If they are fit to live, then obviously why should we punish them with death? It is obvious that they are not fit to live in society. So we say that they should be put to death. So option C is my answer. Did you get that? See, Rihani, if they were imprisoned, yes, even then they are not fit to live in the society. That's why imprisonment. They are kept away from the society. Right? Even if, let us say, they are given a life sentence, they are still removed from the society. So we can still say that they are not fit to live in the society. And even if you remove the word society from C, they are not fit to live, then the death sentence is still obvious. So the convicts are not fit to live. If that is the assumption, it works for a death sentence. And not fit to live in society works both for death sentence and for life imprisonment. In both the cases, they are not fit to live in the society. So either you totally kill them or you remove them from society. Both it works. Chalo. Next one. The government has not declared many parts of the state as drought hit to help farmers get loans. Right? The government has not declared many parts of the state as drought hit to help farmers get loans. Now, do we know that the farmers want their areas to be declared as drought hit? Drought means akal, famine, when there is no rain. We don't know what the farmers want, right? Whether they actually want this declaration or not. We know that the government has not declared it, but whether it is what the farmers want, I don't know. So A cannot be my answer. See, the farmers in the state need loans. Do I need to assume that farmers in the state need loans? If the farmers in the state need loans, then obviously we will make a statement that the government has not declared many parts of the state as drought hit to help farmers. If the farmers don't need loans, will we even say this कि government has not done, government ये नहीं किया वो नहीं किया? No. So if the farmer need loans and the government is not declaring them, then we will make the complaint that why is the government not doing it? Right? Are you getting that? Now, so B, maybe it is possible. C, we don't know whether they are given loans or the farmers in drought hit areas are not given loans, तो गलत है. Because it says that they are not declaring as drought hit, so they are not getting the loans. Which means drought hit area में actually they are given loans. So if the government is not declaring it, then they will not get loans. So C is actually the reverse of what the statement is. So C to definitely not my answer. And drought hit areas में farmers need loans, correct. But those who are not hit by drought, we cannot say that they don't need loans. जिसको जो drought hit है उसको तो loan चाहिए. But if a person is not drought hit, then whether they need a loan or not, I don't know that. So B is the only option which somewhat makes sense. B is the only option which somewhat makes sense. So we will go with B. Are we together? None of the other options are great. Right, guys? Okay. Moving ahead then. Dr. Singh assured a FICCI delegation that he would take every possible action to bring down food prices. Dr. Singh assured a FICCI delegation that he would take every possible action to bring down food prices. Do I need to assume that FICCI is concerned about food prices? Do I need to assume that FICCI is concerned about food price just because Dr. Singh is telling FICCI something, whether they're concerned about it or not, I don't know. Right? Dr. Singh might only be making a speech. Dr. Singh might be only making a speech. So whether FICCI is concerned about it or not, I don't know. So A is not necessarily true. Now Dr. Singh is saying that he will take action, but whether it is his responsibility or not, I don't know. Sometimes people promise that we will do things even if it is not their responsibility. So it is possible that he is promising even without being a responsibility. So B, not necessarily true. Being the food minister, bakwas, I don't need to assume this. But yes, if it is possible to bring down food prices, only then I will promise that I will try to bring it down. If it is not possible to reduce the food price, can I make that promise? I cannot. So the best possible option here is D. The best possible option here is D. Param, if he is making a speech, then he is concerned. Fine. But the option is FICCI is concerned. FICCI doesn't have to be concerned. Right? He is just telling what all he is doing. If he is making the speech, and you are right, he is concerned. But the option doesn't say Dr. Singh is concerned. It says that FICCI is concerned, and that doesn't necessarily have to be true. And in any case, D is a much stronger assumption than A. Even if A is somewhat correct, D is still much stronger than A. So definitely D has to be marked as my answer. Did you get that, Param? I get your point. But did you understand? D is a much stronger assumption. Very good. Now, use of breath analysis to check if the drivers are drunk has been stopped by the traffic police to prevent the spread of swine flu to the traffic police. Use of breath analysis to check if a driver is drunk has been stopped by the traffic police to prevent the spread of swine flu to the traffic police. Which of the assumption is implicit? 1. Do I need to assume that swine flu can be passed on to traffic police only by drunk people? If the only was not given, then this assumption may be true. But only is definitely making it wrong. So A is definitely wrong. Swine flu pass ho raha hai, but whether it is fatal or not, I don't know. So B, I don't need to assume. Whether the traffic police wants or does not want to be affected, it makes no difference. And whether drunken driving is an offense or not is again not required for this particular statement. Right? All four statements, whether you assume them or you don't assume them, makes no difference to the given statements, and hence C. See, Rehani, if traffic police does not want to be infected, then to of course you will say don't use the breath, stop the breath analysis. But even if the traffic police themselves want to be infected, the government may not want it to happen, and hence it may say don't do it. So even if the traffic police wants that infection, the government can still action and say don't do it. Do you get that? So whether traffic police wants it or not is immaterial. The order is being given by somebody else to protect the traffic police. So what the traffic police wants is immaterial. Even if the traffic police says, I want infection, government can still say, no, we don't want you to get infected, so no breath analysis. Right? It has been stopped by the traffic police, but the decision to stop it, it is not necessarily taken by them. They could have got orders from somebody else. Right? The traffic police has physically stopped doing the analysis, but the order to stop may have been given by somebody else. Do you get that? Khushi, now did you get it? So the traffic police has only physically stopped the act of doing analysis, but it may be against their own wish. They may be saying, नहीं 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 हमको तो मरना है, हमको तो swine flu चाहिए. But if they are given the orders, then they have to stop doing it. So whether they want it or not, we don't know, but they have to do it based on orders. Chalo. Next one. The center has released an additional rupees 65 crores to the state to implement midday meal scheme in primary and upper primary schools in educationally backward areas for the current academic year. Which of these assumptions are we talking about? Which of these assumptions are we talking about? Are you getting it? The center has released an additional rupees 65 crores to the state to implement midday meal school in primary and upper primary schools in educationally backward areas for the current academic year. Now, they have given money for primary and upper primary. That does not mean it is not implemented in high school, right? So A cannot be my answer. Now, it is given that the money has been released in educationally backward areas. If it encourages children to go to school, then obviously it makes sense. If it does not encourage children to go to school, does it make sense to make this scheme in the educationally backward area? No. So B may be my answer. More than 65 crores has been spent. No, nothing like this needs to be assumed. Center wants children to attend school. Yes. D possibly is an answer. So between B and D, which is a better assumption? Simply that center wants children to attend school, or midday meal encourages children to go to school? Center wants children to attend is an assumption, but the better assumption is B. The better assumption is B. Right? Similarly, with C, Rihane, can C be true? Additional 65 crores. Fine. But more than 65 crores has been spent. It is not saying in total. Already how much has been spent? Right? The 65 crores is to be spent in the future. Option C is saying how much has already been spent. Is it necessary that more than 65 crores has already been spent? No. Less than 65 crores could have been spent before, and now extra 65 crores is given for the future. So that 65 crores is not already spent money, so it cannot be counted, and hence you cannot assume that. Got that? Good. Did everybody get the options and why B is my best possible answer? My best possible answer is definitely B. Okay. Now, again, single statement, two conclusions. Which one is true? Maruti Suzuki is preparing to roll out its compact car, A-Star, in mid-November this year in India. A-Star will be the 8th model to be launched by Suzuki in less than 40 months. Okay? Can I say that there is a huge demand for new models of cars in India? Whether there is a huge demand for new models or not, does it make a difference to a company launching a new car? Maruti can roll out new cars even if there is no huge demand. Even if there is a moderate demand, it can still do it. Right? Demand, yes, but does it have to be huge? Even if the demand is not huge, they can still introduce new cars, right? The word huge makes this assumption a weak one. If the word huge was not there, then definitely yes. Only if there is a demand, you will launch a new car. But the demand does not have to be huge, right? I don't need to assume that it is a huge demand. Even if it is a mediocre demand, I can still launch a new product. So A is not necessarily true. B. Can I say that it launched its first cars 3 years ago? Look at it. The 8th model in less than 40 months. The 8th model in less than 40 months. 3 years is 36. So 3 years plus is about 40 months is about 3 point some years. So can I say it launched its first cars 3 years ago? Because 40 months is more or less 3 point some years. So it falls within the time frame. So that means my second one is somewhat true. This is the 8th model in 40 months. That means the first model was 40 months, about 40, it was less than 40 months ago. Less than 40 months is roughly 3 years. 3 years and 3 months. 3 years and 4 months actually. So definitely 3 years ago. So B is true. Only the second one. Next. Experts say that work overload leads to stress. But some celebrities say they find work an antidote to stress. Antidote means dawai. Experts say that too much of work is stress. But some celebrities say that if you work, it is an antidote, it is a medicine for stress. Can I say that some celebrities are overloaded by work? I can say celebrities have work, but whether celebrities are overloaded or not, I don't know. Right? Whether celebrities are overloaded or not, I don't know. So the first assumption need not be made. Now, do I need to assume that experts do not judge properly every time? Do I need to assume that experts do not judge properly every time? Do I need to assume the second one? Do I need to assume the second one? No, right? Because I cannot say celebrities are correct. Just because celebrities are saying something other than what experts are saying does not necessarily mean that celebrities are correct and experts are wrong. So I don't need to assume that experts do not judge properly every time. So neither one of them is actually required as an assumption. Previous one was B for Bombay, Param. Okay. Got the 32nd one. Neither one of the two assumptions is actually required for the statements to work. So neither one of them. Correct? Chalo, moving on. Start to think of traveling by train for a holiday. A train journey can give one a better view of places on the way, which an air journey cannot give. Now, while going for a holiday, do I assume that while going for a holiday, people want to enjoy the view of the places on the way? Right? Do I have to assume that people want to enjoy? I'm not saying you have to go by train. I'm saying you can start thinking of traveling by train. It's an option. So I don't have to assume that you definitely want to enjoy. I'm only giving you an option saying that if you take this option, you will enjoy the view. So I don't have to assume that you definitely want to enjoy. So the first one is not necessary. Even without that assumption, it will work. And I definitely cannot assume that they should not travel by air. I'm giving you train as an option. I'm not removing air travel as an option. So second assumption is definitely bakwas, making neither of the assumptions implicit. Right? Neither of the two assumptions is actually implicit in this case. Did you understand that? Right? Okay. Moving on then. The government has scheduled some special trains between Delhi and Kolkata during the month of October. More than 50% of the tickets of these special trains are booked on the first day itself. Do I conclude that there is a huge demand for railway tickets for Delhi-Kolkata route in the month of October? Can I say there is a huge demand for railway tickets for Delhi-Kolkata route? Yes. If more than 50 see, first of all, extra trains are there, and even in the extra trains, 50% of them are booked on the first day itself. Obviously, there is a huge demand, and obviously, regular trains are not enough. So the new ones are, so the special extra ones are booked, which means both of them technically are correct. There is a huge demand because even the extra ones are booked on the same day. And obviously, the regular trains are not enough. That's why the special extra trains are being organized. So both of them can work. Both of them can work. Next. Women have given up the exclusive rights to home decor as more and more men are becoming rather particular about the look and feel of their living spaces. Can I say that earlier home decor was taken care solely by women? Yes. If you say that women have given up exclusive rights, which means before only women used to do it, the word exclusive rights clearly indicates this. So the first one is definitely true. If we say that home decor was taken care only by women, only then we say they had an exclusive right, and now the exclusive right has been given up. So first, definitely true. Now, whether men have better aesthetic sense is sense of style, sense of design, sense of what looks good and what does not. Now, whether men have better aesthetic sense, we don't know. We only know that men are becoming particular about it, but whether they are better than women, we don't know. So hence, only option A, the first one is there. Only the first one is true. You get that? Only the first one is true. Next one. Whenever there are special events or celebrations, magazines publish special supplements covering the occasions. Readers must reserve their copies of such supplements much in advance. So, can I say that special supplements give good coverage to the event concerned? Yes, because if the special supplements do not give a good coverage to the event, then there is no point in publishing them. It clearly says special supplements are only for special events, which means they must be giving good coverage. So first one is true. Second one, obviously they are in demand, that's why the readers are required to reserve them in advance. If the supplement were not in demand, then you don't need to make a reservation. You can buy them whenever they are available. It's only if they are in demand that you will be told you have to advance reserve them. So both of them are true. Both of them are true. Right? Okay. The pigeon was one of the agents of mail in the past. Still, in some parts of Odisha, pigeon mail is used by the police department. First one, can I say the Department of Post and Telegraph has not made any progress in the country? Just because some people still use pigeon mail Does it mean that the Department of P&T has not made any progress? Absolutely not. So first one is irrelevant. Wrong. Second, the police must be finding pigeons more convenient compared to other sources. Obviously, if you are finding it more convenient, only then you will still use it, even if it is outdated. If it is not convenient, why would you use something which is outdated? So obviously, the second one must be true. The police definitely must be finding pigeons more convenient, and that is why they are still using it although it is outdated. So second assumption definitely true, and hence option B has to be my answer. Option B definitely has to be my answer. Are we together on this? Yes, okay. Chalo. In a certain area, 40% of women are in government service, while 70% of the population is in government service. Can you conclude that 60% of women have jobs in private undertaking? If 40% are in government service, can I say 60% are in private? No, I cannot. Why? Because it is not necessary that 100% of women are employed. Right? It is possible that less than 60% have private jobs and some of them are even unemployed. So I can say less than 60% have jobs in private, but I cannot say 60% because it is possible that some of them are also unemployed. So first is definitely not true. Can I say 40% of the couples are in government service? No, I don't know whether all the women who are in government service have their husbands also working with them. So neither one of them is necessarily true. Neither one of them is necessarily true. I do not know whether all the 40% of women actually are married and have husbands working in the government as well. So the second one is also definitely not true. So neither one of them is true. Now, did everybody get it? Mathematically, we can prove both of them are not necessary. Did you understand it, guys? Okay. Next one. USA is helping Pakistan to build up a massive military. Do we say USA wants Pakistan to attack India? If US is helping Pakistan to build up a massive military, does that mean that USA wants Pakistan to attack India? Not necessary. The military could just be to defend itself. Right? India बीच में कहाँ से आया? And can we say Pakistan's intention is to attack India? No. We don't know. Even if Pakistan's intention is not to attack India, they can still need a massive military for protection from other countries. So India does not necessarily have to be assumed for anything. So neither one of them is true. I don't need to assume India anywhere. Even without having India in the picture, you can still talk about Pakistan requiring a military. So whether it is the intention of US or Pakistan to attack India is irrelevant, not required. Okay? The Vedas are packed with greatest wisdom. A German scholar, Max Muller, published the first scholarly translation of the Vedas. Does this mean Germans discovered wisdom or that the Vedas are written in German? Neither one of them. It is said they are translated into German. The Vedas have been translated into German. But Vedas are not originally written in German. I don't need that. And whether Germans discovered wisdom or not is also irrelevant to what is given. So, neither one of them is actually an assumption implicit here. Are we together so far, guys? Are we getting all the questions so far? getting the logic behind how each question is solved. So slowly and steadily with practice, you will be able to do more. Chalo, moving ahead then. 80% of the employees of X Limited earn more than rupees 5,000 per month. 70% of employees of X Limited work as supervisors. What can you conclude from this? Can I say all supervisors earn more than 5,000 per month, or less than 100% of supervisors earn more than 5,000 per month? Very interesting question. Do I say all supervisors earn more than 5,000, or less than 100% earn more than 5,000? Which one? Now guys, look at it carefully. 70% are supervisors and 80% earn more than 5,000. So either it is possible that the 70% of supervisors belong to the 80% totally, or they don't. Both the cases are individually possible. Either the entire 70% of supervisors are counted in the 80%, or not all the 70% are counted in the 80%. Some are and some are not. These are the only two cases possible. So either all of them earn 5,000 or not all of them earn 5,000. One of these two cases is definitely true. Either 100% or not 100%. Either one of them to definitely true hai. Do you get that? Either one of them is definitely true. Either one of them is definitely true. So it has to be either A or B. Either one is true. Now do you understand either or what that option means? Either or what that option means. Now do you get it? I hope everybody understood one of the rare examples of either or. Yes, Rihani, we don't know. That's why either they make or they don't make. See, let us say there are, let us say, 70 supervisors and total 80 people make more than 5,000. So it is possible that all these 70 supervisors are part of this 80, or not all the 70 are part of this 80. So either all of them are part of the 80 making more than 5,000, or not all of them. So yes or no, दोनों में से कोई एक तो ऑप्शन होगा ही ना. Do you get that, Rihani? Between yes and no, one of them is definitely an option. And that's why it's either one or two. Okay. Moving ahead. Next one. India has quite a number of Indo-German collaborations. Hence, our projects are getting technical as well as financial aids. Right? Can I say that collaborations are formed to help each other in every field? The word every is your hint. We don't know whether it is there for every field. It is there for quite a number. It is there for many fields. But whether it is there for every field, I don't know. So the first one is not necessarily true. Right? The first one is not necessarily true. What about the second one? Some collaborations lead to the spread. Dissemination means spread. Some collaborations lead to the dissemination of technical know-how. Yes, it is definitely true. That's why the sentence works. Right? Because we are getting technical aid. It is because of the collaboration that technical know-how, technical knowledge is spread. And that is the aid we are getting. So the second one is definitely there. So not one but two. Did you understand that? Not one but two. Kushi, which part did you not get? Second one. See, if collaboration leads to the spread of knowledge is true, then we can say yes, India is getting collaboration with Germany and hence we are getting technical help. It is because of, see, technical knowledge is spread because of collaboration, and that is the help that we are getting here. Did you get that? That is the help that they are talking about that we are getting here. Now, did you understand it? Stuti, got the second one now? Khushi? If collaboration does not lead to the spread of technical knowledge, then can we say that because of the German collaboration, our projects are getting technical aid, technical help? No. That means collaboration does lead to the spread of technical knowledge, because if collaboration did not lead to spread of technical knowledge, we cannot say that because of the collaboration we are getting technical help. I hope you understood it now. Right? Okay. Next one. Many big time cinema producers are becoming TV serial producers. Do I need to assume that they are risk or expense? Do I need to assume anything about their risk or expense? No. So neither one of them is technically required. Neither one of them is technically required. Hope you got that. Easy, this one. Okay. Many great scientists are conducting research work on outer space. Right? The word only in the first option, indicates it is wrong. I cannot say only space has mysteries. Space has mysteries, but it is possible other things also have mystery. Why do I need to say only space has mysteries? So first one is not an assumption. See, when something offers a challenge, then obviously you will research about it. If outer space is not a challenge, that means we already know about it, then why should we be researching it? When something is a challenge, then we take it up and research it. If it is not a challenge, then there is no point in conducting new research on it. That means the second assumption is definitely true. My second assumption is definitely true. Right? Did you get this one? The second assumption is definitely true. Are you together, guys, on this one? Okay. Moving ahead. All patients with high blood sugar were found to have some worry or the other. So, mental tension may affect blood sugar. Right? The word may is superb. Right? So, yes, if the word was it definitely affects blood sugar, that is no guarantee. But yes, if high blood pressure and worries are found together, it is possible that mental tension is affecting blood pressure. So first, somewhat true. And if one has no mental tension, then one may not suffer from high blood pressure. The word may tells you that that assumption can never be wrong. They are not saying it is compulsory. They are saying it is possible. and the possibility to always exists. It is not impossible. The word may makes both of these assumptions as acceptable ones. See, they are not saying that mental tension is definitely affecting blood pressure. But if a person with high blood pressure also has worries, then we may think that it is the tension which may be causing the blood pressure. There's nothing wrong in it. Shubham, did you get that? May ki jagah, if it says mental tension definitely affects blood pressure, then I cannot be sure. But because of may, I cannot say it is wrong. Because may का मतलब क्या है? हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता. So when an assumption, when it contains the word may, so it's very difficult to prove it wrong. Because it says it is a possibility. It's not impossible, right? It is quite possible. So that may saves us. And because both of them contain may, both of them are possible. Next one. The world is neither good nor evil, but each man interprets the world in his own way. So obviously, some people think it is good. At the same time, some people think it is bad. So what will we mark in this guy? Is it possible to have both the conclusions correct at the same time? Is it possible that at the same time, some people think the world as good and others think it as bad? Can both the conclusions be true at the same time? Yes. It is quite possible for both the conclusions to be true simultaneously. So we mark E as the answer. They are not contradicting each other. It is possible for both these things to occur at the same time, and hence we will mark both of them as true. Did you get this one? It is possible that at the same time some people think it is good and others think that it is bad. Okay. All the black marketeers of foreign currencies are seen near the port whenever a new ship arrives. Mr. A, one such black marketeer is near the port. What can you think? Either a new ship has arrived or a new ship has not arrived. Right? See, it is not said that A has to be only when the ship is there. Right? Black marketeers go to the port when a new ship comes. And Mr. A is a black marketeer who is at the port. But that does not mean that a new ship has come. Either it has come or it has not come. Right? So definitely either or. One of these two things are possible, but both of them are not simultaneously possible. So either or definitely has to be my answer in this case. You get that? Are you getting it? Did everybody get why either or is my answer in this particular example? Okay. The government of country X has recently announced several concessions and offered attractive package tours for foreign visitors. Can I say that more number of foreign tourists will visit the country? Yes. Only if I assume this, then I will give them true packages. First one is definitely required. What about the second one? Can I say the government of country X seems to be serious in attracting foreign tourists? Can I say that the government seems to be serious in attracting tourists? Yes, because only if they are serious, then they will do something to actually attract them. If the government was not serious about it, then there is no reason for them to take such measures. So both of them are true. Both of them have to be true. Correct? Okay. Next. A top Hollywood actor of एक second. I'm going back to the previous one. Rihani has a question. Okay. One, true, because the government wants more tourists, but we're not sure there will be more tourists. Assumption, Rihani. These are all questions of assumptions. Although it is written conclusion here, but technically we are actually talking about assumptions. Whenever I take any step, won't I assume that my step will have positive reaction? If the government does not assume that more tourists will come, then will it do such actions? Whenever you take any step, we are not checking whether in reality it will happen or not. We are only seeing whether the assumption is there. If the government assumes that by doing such things more tourists will come, then the government will actually take those steps. But if the government is not sure that more tourists will come, then the government may not take that step, right? So before taking a step, the government has to assume that the step will be positive. See, the government assumes that the vaccine will make our country safe, and that's why it is promoting the vaccine. Whether the vaccine will actually make us safe or not, we don't know, right? But the government is promoting it, means it is assuming that it will work. So here also, whether it actually works or not, we don't know. But because the government has done it, it has assumed that it will work. Right? Okay. Next one. A top Hollywood actor of Indian origin has given up his profession there and has come back to act in Indian films. Can I say that the love of motherland and desire to work made him come, or that he was facing some problems? Do I need to assume any one of these things? No. It could, is it possible to have some third reason? Yes. Maybe he's getting more money here. So even without assuming any one of these, the statement can still be true. And hence option D. Even without assuming any one of these, the statement can still be true. So I don't need any one of these assumptions. And the last example, a 14-year-old boy was found to be the main culprit behind the recent bank robbery. When he was prosecuted, he said that he was inspired by movies on the Star Movies, a channel beamed by local cable TV network. And this is the latest incident that supports the cause and effect theory under examination. Can I say movies have a great impact on some young minds? Movies have a great impact on some young minds. Yes. The statement obviously proves that. Can I say young minds are adventurous? It should be adventurous, the spelling. Adventures, nahi, adventurous. Do I need to assume that young minds are adventurous? Right? Not all young minds are necessarily adventurous. This particular person has been affected, but that does not mean that all young minds are adventurous. So, do I need to assume the first one? Do I need to assume the first one? Yes. Do I need the second one? No. And hence option A. Option A. Do we get that? Did we get that? Right? So guys, that's pretty much what was there. Some of these answer options, there may be slight corrections. I'll check that. I'll send across the entire slide for your reference. So, are there any doubts so far? Okay. So, if there are any questions, any doubts for me, then you can hang around. Else, we are done for the day. You may exit the session. Stay home, stay safe. right? If there are no questions, no doubts, then we are done for the day. You may exit the session. If you want to ask any questions or want any doubt solved, then I'll hang around. You can stay. Okay. Param says ISC has released the schedule for boards. Okay. Okay. Man, session for what? Man, session for what? For interview. Do you have any specific interviews coming up? Do you have any specific interview coming up? No? Then next week, if it's not urgent, then yes, we will be scheduling, but not this week. We will be scheduling his lectures, but not this week. This week's schedule has already been sent. But we will be having lectures of his, don't worry. Rehani, you can continue on this call. Let the others exit. I'll unmute you. You can talk to me on this itself. On Zoom itself, I'll unmute you. Just hang around for some time. Others, if there are any doubts, you can hang around or else you can exit the session. Okay, Rehani, you can unmute yourself and we can talk.
Okay, I just wanted to ask how I can, so since I just started the class today, how I can catch up on the previous sessions.
Okay, I will send you across. See, we are going to repeat most of these sessions as backups for those who have missed in between. So, in class, we will be covering a lot of these topics once again after the first cycle of topics is complete. But in the meantime, on PDF, I have compiled a list, whatever classes we have conducted so far. We have recorded most of these sessions and I'll be sending you across the link, right? So you can, if you want, you can watch these videos, but we'll also be covering most of these topics once one cycle of the entire thing is complete. So I hope that is useful to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you send me the PDF, I can just watch the videos and everything is there in the books also, right?
Yes. In fact, I've already sent you the PDF. So the links are whatever classes, date-wise, whatever classes were conducted, you'll get the videos of that. And a lot of these things, then once we complete the course once, time permitting, we will do them once again.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hello?
Yes.
I just want to ask what will be the next session?
I think the schedule, let me check whether I've sent you the schedule. Yeah, tomorrow is mathematics. That is tomorrow is mathematics, 6:30 session again. Just check, I've sent you an image of the entire week's schedule.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
नंबर को, कोई भी नेचुरल नंबर, ठीक है, नाउ ऑलवेज सेम वैल्यू आएगा, 1 के लिए 1, 5 के लिए 5, 6 के लिए 6, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट है 4 रेज टू ऑड नंबर ऑलवेज 4 होगा, एंड 4 रेज टू इवन नंबर ऑलवेज 6 होगा। 9 raised to odd number 9 and 9 raised to even number 1, ये नोट करो। ओके डन। अभी नेक्स्ट आते हैं क्वेश्चन 2 3 7 8, 2 3 7 8, ठीक है, रेज टू 1, रेज टू 2, 3 एंड 4, ठीक। सो इसमें क्या करना है आपको, ये कॉलम कैसे कंप्लीट करोगे, पहले लिखेंगे 2 रेज टू 1 2, 2 रेज टू 2 4, 2 raised to 3 8, 2 raised to 4 16 and 6। हाँ, इसको लर्न करने के लिए बहुत जो बेस्ट अप्रोच अप्लाई करना है, वो क्या करना है, 2 के साथ वो मल्टीप्लाई करते हो, 2 into 2 क्या होगा,